Okay. Hey, what's up, chat? There's literally like nobody in the chat. Hold on, let me see. Big Mick 2, what up? You think the Steam machine will fail? That's a good question. That is a good question. And that is definitely a conversation to be had during this live stream. There is so many different reasons why I personally think that there's a lot of things wrong with the concept, I guess you could say. What's up, Reese? Pierre? Pierre, that's how you say it, right? Pierre? Pierre? I feel like there's like needs to be like more in there or something. I don't know though. What do I know? I only know about video games. Kind of. I'm kind of okay at video games. So I've got a decent amount, I guess, to cover during this live, and we're gonna talk about the Steam machine. Steam machine. Steam machine. Like, I feel like they could have done something a little bit more with the name. I wish I was. Thank you very much. Did you say, Messiah? Did you say I'm gonna troll you, dude? You're gonna be in so much trouble. Um, she doesn't wanna. Oh, yeah, the great Steam machine debate. I apologize for the sunglasses tonight, you guys, but I am on the verge fighting off an ocular migraine. And so just one of those nights where I gotta wear them because I'm literally like going blind in my left eye. So that's always fun. Um, so first things first. First things first. And by the way, is my audio good? Like, am I coming through clearly? I hope you guys can hear me. Because usually I have like audio problems and stuff, but I think I have it all sorted out tonight. For the first time since 2022, for the first time in forever. Anyone who has kids knows why I would say that. I'm sorry. Audio's low. Okay. It's fine on my end. Good for me, but Reese says it's low. Maybe, Reese, maybe to turn up your volume there, mate. Yeah? I was gonna use the C word, but like I feel like YouTube might be really strict about that, so I didn't do it. I didn't do it, even though it would have been in the good way. All right. Yeah, turned way up. That is so weird. Okay. Let me see. Well, because if I turn it up anymore, I'm gonna go into the red. So that might not be good. Um I wonder why it's like that. I don't know, because I'm only streaming through OBS, so C is in Chulix. Chulix, no. No. C is in the Australian C word, which the C word in Australia, you know, is it rhymes with hunt, but it starts with C. Um, but it's actually a term of endearment, so which they say like every other word pretty much, and it's awesome. so yeah. Okay, guys. So first things first, I got to talk about the Smash JT lawsuit because, God, I mean, talk about a lot of stuff happening at once for that guy. You got, Review Tech USA. Well, he's not called Review Tech USA anymore, but just roasting this dude, like religious roast, like just biblical. That's what I mean. Where's Bono's Tecmo? Biblical roasting of this man. What, you know, from everything I've seen, like, my opinion, I think it's rightfully deserved. Dark Realm Gaming, what's up? Ooh, spooktacular, yeah. Thank you. Love the sunglasses. Thank you. Thank you. You too. Right on. Thank you. Yeah, so I just think it's funny what's going on right now, like the dynamic of the whole thing. So to make a long story short about the lawsuit, I mean, everybody knows that he and Mercante are, you know, she's suing him, but, you know, they're at odds with each other. And you got Review Tech USA just totally dethroning this dude with all the videos that he's been making. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But anyway, the lawsuit itself has taken a very interesting turn. And I talked about this, I don't know, maybe a couple streams ago, where I said, like, I think where they're at right now in the progression of what's going on, that they're going to end up going to trial, and like they're not going to dismiss the because he requested for them to basically like dismiss the case and also like forego discovery. But once they said like, no, you guys can do like basically a partial discovery, I was like, oh, that's not looking good for him. So anyways, the current status as of right now, and I'm not going to like go into like a ton of details aside from what I'm about to read you guys about the court case itself, is the discovery status. So they are now in general discovery, which is ongoing under the protective order. And if you guys don't know what discovery is, it's a process during you know, legal proceedings where basically the both sides or one side gets to subpoena like the other's personal records and DMs, stuff like that, when it's especially when it's like related to online harassment. So essentially you have the right to pull records that you believe may be related to the case, which would be like for us, for people who are on like YouTube and stuff like that, would be, you know, Discord records, all kinds of like chats. I mean, it gets nasty, right? It's going to get yucky. And she's all about it. She's like, let's go. Let's do this. And he's been trying to to make that not happen for a while now. So it's happening. The court has now ordered limited jurisdiction discovery, specifically about whether the court has personal jurisdiction over Tarzia. So what that means is that they're also trying to figure out whether or not they have, and this is another thing that they're going to use those subpoenas for, is to figure out like whether or not like he can be basically, from my understanding, held accountable or liable in the state of New York. But from everything else that I've read, I basically, from my understanding, is that there's no reason for him not to be. So there would, I think, have to be a really, really, really good argument for him to get out of the situation that he's in now. Next required steps: complete jurisdictional discovery within 45 days. Mercante must file a letter within 7 days after that stating whether she wants to continue the case. So it's kind of like up to her, I guess. Tarzia can potentially refile his jurisdiction challenge after this discovery. If jurisdiction is established, the case proceeds into full discovery towards trial or settlement. So, in short, the lawsuit is active and moving forward. Tarzia's attempt to dismiss the case has not succeeded. The court wants more information about whether it has jurisdiction. Discovery is continuing, and the case is progressing into deeper litigation. And what I find even more interesting is that he continues to make videos about this, which is like, I don't like, why would you do that? Like, you're technically like kind of incriminating yourself more in a way. And it's like, I think maybe he thinks in his mind, and I'm just guessing, I don't know, but maybe he thinks in his mind that he can make videos about it and talk his way out of it, or use that as like a shield for, you know, his viewers to be like, oh, how dare you, like, yeah, you're in the right, I don't know, because that's how like a lot of people who do the kind of content that he does, that's how they are. But again, that's just my best guess. So that's that, where the case is at. So that's not looking good. I would say it's not looking good. I mean, chat, you let me know what you think from the sound of that. Like, personally, like, my impression of that is that it's not going well for him specifically. And then we have, and by the way, Review Tech USA, for those of you who don't know, he used to have like this huge channel, and basically deleted it for various reasons. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna scoop over to that and just watch that real quick before we get into this whole Steam Machine thing. So yeah, we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and swoop over here and check this out. Oh my god. Okay, so the title of this video, and there's several of these, by the way. The title of this video is YouTube's most blatant anti-woke gaming grifter gets exposed as a fraud. Now, another thing that I saw was, because I thought Smash JT and what's his name? Stuttering Craig from the, what's the name of that podcast that they do? I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, I thought they were kind of like homies. And I just, like, one of the last videos that I saw Craig make for his podcast, he was like something in the title of like Smash JT gets exposed or something like that. And I was like, oof, like the people who had your back, because I don't think that they like Mercante very much, which is really neither here nor there to me. But I was like, man, that sucks when you become the content. What are you guys saying in here? Let me see what's going on in here. Yo, Destiny FOMO, what's up, girl? Let me see. It seems as if jurisdiction is still up in the air to see if the case can even be heard here in New York. Right. Yeah, so it's a trip, because it's like, the fact that they're going through the discovery process to figure that out, I mean, I think that still holds some weight to it, though, from what I'm reading in the notes, like the cliff notes of what's online for that. Just because, I mean, like you said, it's up in the air, but at the same time, it's like, based on other things that I've read, like other discussions between attorneys and stuff like that, there's a decent probability, like I think 60%, that the case will go into full discovery. But I know that he's been fighting it off, and I don't know. I know that Brody's like a pretty badass judge. Like, she's a very notable, influential judge. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But thank you for stopping by and hanging out. And that's good to hear from a local New Yorker. Sorry, you can slap me. I can't help it. Okay. So anyway, outside of that, we have the whole roast fest on. Well, his name's Rich, so I'm just gonna call it Rich's channel because, that's what his name is, and he's not Review Tech USA anymore. Technically, I feel like that was like his that was almost like a superhero name, like Review Tech USA, cape and everything.
7:30 p.m.
I'm gonna stop now, guys. Just tell me to stop. Okay, I don't know why, but I am not hearing this audio. You guys let me know if you can hear this.
Eastern Daylight Time. We're going to be going into DSP.
I don't hear anything. Do you guys hear it? You can hear it. Okay, well, that's good. Why can't I hear it? Let me see. Let me see here. Oh, I don't have sound. Why don't I have sound? Gonna get my see if that fixed it. Oh my god, I seriously don't have sound right now. Guys, this is a disaster. It's always audio issues. Every time. It's always audio issues with me. Why is this happening? Oh god, okay. I don't. Yeah, it's still not working for me. But you know what? I just thought of something that I do have to say to everybody in here. And that is that, and this is just for transparency, I do work for Polycade Marketing. So if you hear me talk about Polycade or anything like that, just know that I work for marketing. But generally, like, my comments are probably just going to be geared towards something that really doesn't have to do with that, unless I specifically disclaim that. But I'm just letting you guys know because I don't want to say something that somebody's like, oh, she never said. Oh yeah, for Polycade. So, dude, I'm so bummed right now. Okay, well, you guys can hear it, so I'm just gonna turn on captions, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna improvise.
P's most insane dent called PWR, or Pro Wrestling Reality. He had a pretty bizarre crash out recently, and I think
Let's
to
see.
exploit for views. The anti-woke crowd is going after me for my anti-woke ideologies, and and he
okay,
bailed
so
ship
the other
at the
funny thing to note here is that Smash used to be this super left-wing dude, and now he's ultra right-wing. If you've ever seen the introduction to his live stream, it's the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. It doesn't matter if you're conservative. It doesn't matter if you're left-wing. It's just the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. It's like a throat video of Trump. I don't think I'm supposed to say that word on here, but well, anyway, it's just, I meant the T word. Sorry. I'm trying to fight off this stupid ass ocular migraine. But anyway, so I am just look, I served in the military. I'm not super conservative. I'm not super liberal. I'm somewhere in the middle, I'm I would say that I'm just a reasonable person, and I respect people's, human rights, fundamental human rights to exist and stuff like that. But I also don't give in to the clownery of some of the ridiculousness. Ginger tea. Noted. Thank you, Prince. Good to see you in here. So anyway, yeah. Oh, so you're just a normal person. Yeah, just a normal person. I guess you could say, kind of. But yeah. So I mean, like, I have my own beliefs and stuff, but I'm not like an extremist at all by any means. So, anyways, he used to be super, super duper duper duper, which we're gonna see here in a second, left, and then like just super ultra grifted Hadouken Saryuken um spin round kick to the right, to the super empirical right. But yeah. Oh, we have a new member. Thank you very much. Wait, hold, how do you say that? Vandrith Slaymore. That's a cool name. Hyper combo finish right. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, I'm going to shut up now and we'll watch this.
7th hour. He's like, yeah, you know what? Oh wow, everyone left this ship and got on the lifeboats. Yeah, I saw it all along. I saw it all along. The Amico was terrible. Yeah, I'm with you guys. At the very end. Good job, Jeff. Well, Jeff's new
Okay, so this is Rich talking about how he smashed JT, basically, like went through this whole Amico thing. Oh my god, thank you so much, girl. Thank you. Appreciate you. How he basically got on the Amico train. And if you guys know what Amico is, it was this whole drama thing with Tommy Tellerico. I didn't even know until I started doing like home arcade YouTube and was like a year into it, and then I heard about it, so I like looked into it, of course. And then basically donated like 10 G's or something like that, and then the whole thing started to fall apart, and he was like done with it. But the whole time he was like defending it, embarrassingly so. So yeah, everybody say thank you to Destiny for those free memberships. Very sweet. Thank you. So yeah. That's kind of the story there with the Amico thing, and it was just, I think it's just a good example of how hard the dude will grift in and out of something, because then he was like, once everybody was done with it, he was like, oh, this is the worst thing, like, I never, basically just a 180 completely. His whole attitude, persona, everything changed. So I think the beginning of this one or another video, Rich is saying like, oh God, Jeff, I knew this day would come. Oh, it's like vindication.
To success actually worked for him, and it was right-wing grifting. And I have been saying it for ages that this is completely disingenuous.
See, so there you go right there. Boom. There you go right there. He says it. He calls it out. Mensa, thanks. That's a good troll. That was a good troll.
Ship and got on the lifeboats. Yeah,
I saw it all got along. On the lifeboats.
I saw it all
along.
Yeah. Amico was terrible. Yeah, I'm with you guys. At the very end. Good job, Jeff. Well, Jeff's new road to success actually worked for him, and it was right-wing grifting. And I have been saying it for ages that this is completely disingenuous. He's just doing this to get internet clout. Now look,
I'm also not against people having their political views. I just want to say this. Like, I'm not against people having their political views. I am against what I don't like, I should say. I'm not necessarily against what I don't like. What I find very annoying are people who don't educate themselves. And that's when it gets aggravating to me, because it's like you don't even know what you're talking about, and you're saying all these things that can be socially harmful to people, or that can get people hurt. And when you advocate for things like that without educating yourself, that's when I get offended. And it doesn't matter if it's left or right, because there was a lot of stuff going on in the left that I really wasn't a fan of. Like, and I'm talking about like the social culture, because a lot of what you see now in politics is like social culture online. So I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, but I'm just saying, like, I have no problem with people having political views. It's just like, please be educated and be willing to talk about it and have like a friendly conversation about it instead of just getting angry like a bitch. So thanks again, Mr. Mensa. Everybody say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, here we go.
And luckily for him, too, when he went in this right wing direction, he ended up having that whole lawsuit happen that he is still involved in, and it's still pending with Alyssa Mercante, who used to work at Kotaku. So that helped Jeff turn into a martyr. You know, oh, look, they're going after me for my anti-woke ideologies, and they're trying to stifle free.
Yes, this is like the grifting or right-wing mentality of like, you know, they're so anti-cancel culture, but they're totally cancel culture. It's like I can't comprehend it. What I do comprehend is that it's like total and complete hypocrisy. Like if there was a picture of hypocrisy in a dictionary, that's what would be next to it. Like it's just utter insanity. And so that's, you know, I've seen several people do this, and they're usually about Jeff's age, and they usually look kind of like Jeff. So let's see. So anyway, this is just someone who was around him in the Amico days who can basically call out everything that I've been seeing. So this is a good platform for me to jump off of for you guys, because you can see there's another like prominent YouTuber, whether you like the guy or not, who's talking about this stuff and pointing it out like very logically. Good vibes VR. We're going to get into that. I promise. I promise. Okay. Let's get through this.
Speech. So that made him become the anti-woke right-wing darling to a degree. And here we are with
free speech and
but I've told everyone from day one, he is full of crap and he is an opportunist. And
so one of the main interesting things here is essentially that I wanted to talk about was like the degree of shift from lefty to, you know, anti-woke, because it gets you views and stuff like that. But what came with it was when he got attention from Mercante, which she never should have done. She never should have acknowledged him. That's my personal opinion. That's my personal view. She never should have acknowledged him. She should have just ignored him and let him go on his little way. But when that happened, that's when he gained traction and got notoriety, And that's when he just went full swing, like front foot in all the way, and cracked that bat and just started going totally right-wing insanity. So here's this. We're gonna watch this, and then we're gonna get into the Steam machine. This is the part right here. So let's see. Okay, so there's about like 3-4 minutes that we got to get through, and then we'll shift over. But
he will do whatever he needs to do to garner relevancy. He needed to have a following for the sake of having a following, and he would do whatever he needed to do to get it. Well, here we are.
Oh, and by the way, just real quick, in case you guys didn't know, Colin Moriarty came on Jeff's show on his channel and debated him and just crushed him. And I feel like that was like the catalyst for everything that's happened since. But I don't know.
And people are finding out now that Jeff is full of crap, and previous Jeff, before the right-wing anti-grifter Jeff, would have probably hated the current Jeff, and people are finally seeing Jeff for who he is. Now, does this mean that his audience, who is captivated by him, who just wants to hear the things he has to say, are they going to actually hold him to task? I almost guarantee you not. But at least in the land of the sane, they're seeing through him. So what started all this where people are realizing that Jeff is full of crap? Well, there's shout out to this gentleman Kmed over on Twitter, and he actually posted this YouTube video. He said, I sorted Smash JT's content on YouTube by date and found this old gem. The video discusses how women seem to need attractiveness to succeed on YouTube and how that's not right and unfortunate. Smash was different until he.
So he's talking about Jeff saying this, like women need to be attractive to succeed on YouTube, and that's not fair. But men don't.
Found a group to exploit for views. The anti-woke crowd is that group, and they fell for his grift. And here, here is, oh God, yeah, he's shirtless. I forgot about that part. Yep, he's shirtless for this video. So that's a thing. And here is what Jeff, before the grift, here was his take on gamer girls.
That's where I feel like I have the most expertise. I spend most of my days on YouTube watching a lot of great content creators. And then this morning I woke up to see the Dalai Lama was trending. Why was he trending? Well, he said that if he's going to have a female successor, she needs to be attractive. That would be the most important part about it. And with that being the case, it got me wondering, why does that matter? Why is that important? Why does a girl need to be attractive to be the next Dalai Lama? Is it a marketing?
I don't know, Jeff. You tell me. The man who's losing his mind over Ghost of Yoite and how she looks and how it's not historic.
So to circle back real quick to Colin Moriarty, that was like what the debate was about, was Ghost of Yote, because he's, you know, saying all these things about like the numbers and not transparent and how it's a failure, you know, anti-woke or woke, blah, blah, blah. Like every game is woke now. And that's one of the things that is just like annoying, dude, because like when we were younger, there was nobody gave a shit. Like nobody cared. And honestly, I don't think anybody really cared until maybe like 2020 or 2019, somewhere in there. And, you know, there started to be like this murmur of like, oh, yeah, well, the agenda. Blah. Man, I don't know. But it's like, why are we politicizing video games, dude? Like it's so stupid. But anyway, so yeah, this is hilarious. You can see the complete opposite of what he is today. And you're talking about like a day turnover, you know, like this, maybe not a day, maybe like a week or 2 weeks. It was just like flip flop. Oh, Tsushima is so good. I have the I had the standard version on, I think, no, was it PC? I don't know, but I have like the director's cut on, is it the director's cut or am I thinking of Death Stranding on PS5? And it's so good. Okay, so, all right, that's enough of Smash, but I just had to update everybody on his case and like some of the stuff that's coming up right now because it's hilarious. If you have not seen the Colin Moriarty Roast Fest, the video's on his channel and it is hilarious. Like it is hilarious to watch, and you should read the comments because it's not even that like the comments are hateful, they're just dogging on him. It's just like it's great. It's a dumpster fire. Total dumpster fire is what it's turning into. But yeah. Oh, there's a director's cut on PS4, PS5. Yeah. So I definitely have the PS5 one then. Okay, so let us switch over to bada bing, bada boom. Ooh, the magical. Wait, why is it so big? Oh, is that normal? I don't know. I don't think it was supposed to be that big. What the H? Oh, because I need to go here. There you guys go. All right, so we have the Steam machine. All right, this, like, they announced it, what, yesterday? And as soon as I saw it and you know, heard them talking about it, the minute that they said it was limited to the Linux OS for Steam, my eye twitched because I was like, why? Like, why would you take something that has like RDNA3 power and limit it to the Steam OS? And I am truly curious, chat, like what your take on this is. So, whatever your opinions are, like, go ahead, throw them in the chat, and let me know. I'm gonna tell you mine. I'm gonna be ranty about it probably. So my thing is like, is it powerful? Does it have potential? Yeah, it is. Well, it's definitely got a lot of power for its size, and it definitely has potential. But I think I need 3 of them. And I think that the idea is cool, but like my biggest issue with it is the fact that they're running it on a Linux system with their custom OS that doesn't allow you to get the full range of the Steam library. I feel like that is a complete waste of power, for one thing. Okay, and then I always look at everything from, I guess, like a tech and price point of view, because I'm like a very practical person. So if I can get something that is equivalent to that in power for a quarter of the price, and then even if it's like, okay, for example, let me say this before I go into that. The Steam machine, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, is not going to be capable of Oculink, right? Which means you can't, I mean, if anybody doesn't know, you can't plug an external GPU into it. Like, to me, that is like a bottleneck for something that's probably going to cost around $1,000. Go to bed, you're shut up, Menta. But it's probably going to cost around $1,000. Now, I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point because they haven't released the pricing yet. But my speculation would be somewhere between like, and I'll go low. I'll go lower than I was. I'll say $650 to $1,200 is like the price range, depending on what version or model you get. Because, you know how expensive it is when you buy like, go from what do you call it, like 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes. It's like another $200 for some reason if it's a console. So yeah, let's see. About everything it's going to be able to do in its space. Could a Linux OS assist with privacy and security? It's possible. I mean, yeah, it could, but I guess that was more towards the 1,000. Oh no. Destiny FOMO says, I use SteamOS on the Lenovo Legion Go, and it's pretty beefy. A normie doesn't want to deal with a mess load of settings, but still wants a leg into that PC life. Wait, so like when you say SteamOS, do you mean like you're using it on Windows, or like you have like a Linux setup on your Lenovo? That's interesting. Let me see. Sorry. I have a 5900X and 7900 Gree with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm thinking of moving from Windows to SteamOS. Oh, like okay, derp, dude. I'm sorry, that was totally dumb. Okay, so like, it's an actual installable. I didn't even know you could like install this OS. Like, now I feel dumb. I didn't know that you could actually install the OS on, like as a primary OS, or is it like dual boot? I was unaware of that. Yes, I told you this. I agree with Undiscovered Devs Games. Wait, looked into this as well. Unofficially, you can as a recovery. Okay. So that's like some gamer status shit right there, then. Is that fair to say? Like, only people like us would do something like that? Look into okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. I just learned something new, or I'm gonna learn something new. But okay, so as far as like the library goes in Steam, though, like you have access to like what percent of the library? Because from my understanding, it's like 70%. Is that about right? Like 70% of the library is playable on Steam OS. Um, and I don't know like if that has anything to do with system requirements, but fill me in a little bit more on Steam OS in the chat. Because again, like that's always been my understanding of it, was basically like one of the limitations was the main limitation for me is that you don't have access to the full library. It's not necessarily that SteamOS is bad in my eyes. It's the fact that like you don't have access to the full library. And if you have a machine like this with an RDNA3, GPU discrete, I feel like that's something that you should like. It should be set up in a way where you have access to like all the games. But in that case, it's like you might as well buy, a PS5 Pro or, a Series X or even S if you want to like save a ton of money. Budget gamers, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of my take on the SteamOS thing. Is I just feel like it's limited. Like Xbox, everybody hates on Xbox, but my compliment about Xbox is that like it cross platforms to PC really easily. And so you have that, that library sharing there that goes across both platforms. I mean, Windows is it. Like that's what everybody uses. So, the Xbox platform on there is just as good as having an Xbox for the most part, I think. So anyway, okay. Outside of the OS, it is a powerhouse. So, but the cost of something that's equivalent to it is roughly going to be, $200 less than what you're going to pay for that potentially. And I have to keep saying that. Like, you guys let me know what you think. How much do you think it's going to cost? Like starting configuration, how much do you think it's going to cost? Because I think it's going to be somewhere between $650 and $800. And I don't think there's any way they're going to get it down to like $400. If PS5 is selling for like $750, then there's no way. I don't think that they're going to get it below like $650 minimum. $500. Des, technically you do, but many games still don't work well on it. Some might with modifications. Yeah, so yeah, because it's running on their OS, which I still like don't fully understand the mechanics of it. I'm not that brilliant, but I understand enough of the mechanics to like 600, 6 to 8 starting configuration. Yeah. And the controller's not going to be cheap. Doesn't the controller come with it? Don't tell me the controller doesn't come with it. Oh, man. Okay. Well, anyway, I'd pay $400. So mini PCs are like something that I've been into for a while, probably like a couple years, because I started to see like when mini PCs first came out, they were really cheap. Like you had like N100s, you could get those for like $115. They've gotten more expensive now. But an N100 is way more powerful than a Raspberry Pi, and at that time, I mean, people were paying like almost $100 for a Raspberry Pi, like even the 4 and 5. And I'm just like, dude, why would I pay for something that has like that limited of capabilities? Like I want to play more than, Donkey Kong on my setup. And so it made sense, to pay like $100 or $120 for a mini PC off of Amazon. I think I don't have the other box with me right now. But I used to have this Ryzen setup that I got for like $180, and it was like I can't remember. I think it was like a 758 something. with Radeon graphics, and I think it had like 32 gigabytes of RAM, maybe. And so that was $180. And I mean, you know, the AGPUs, they just like pull from the system memory anyways. So it worked really well as long as you had the graphics drivers installed. All right, Good Vibes VR says, I say 5 to 700. It's still a PC at the end of the day. In theory, is standard hardware to target for Unreal Engine titles. The Steam frame will be more than the PSVR 2, but less than the Index bundle. That's probably a pretty realistic assessment. And again, I go back to like the PS5, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is still $750. And I'm using that as like kind of like a benchmarker for it, because I mean, this thing has a Zen 4 and they're only running like Zen 2s, I think, in the PS5 Pro and Series X. So you have that kind of like benchmark difference. I feel like just, you know, technology, it's more expensive. It's always more expensive when it's new. So yeah, that's kind of like my take on the price. But yeah, I feel like 700, I think 700 is kind of like a realistic bet, or like $699.99 or something. So anyway, I guess my biggest thing with it is for like, as somebody who's coming from like using mini PCs, is I can go on Amazon, and I already did this last night, but I can find at least 3 machines that are almost as powerful, if not equally as powerful. There was one, and I want to say it was like GM Tech for like $650, and that thing had like a freaking RDNA 3.5 GPU or something. I mean, I know that technically the setup is more optimized on the Valve system, which means you'd probably get like a higher frame rate and better texture quality, like once you get up into the higher resolutions. But I think the price depends on if Valve wants to take a load per console sold just to get people locked into the ecosystem. Yeah, that's a good point. This is a GameCube. Oh my god, I remember that. I do wish there was an option for 32 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of VRAM. That would that would kind of beast it, going from 8 to 16 on the VRAM with that setup. But the system RAM, is there really isn't an option for 32 gigabytes? I thought that was, for some reason I thought that was like standard. Maybe I'm just a little bit too coffee drunk, I don't know. As long as it's dual channel, right? That's like what really matters. I've had, you know what? I still have my 2070 Destiny, but I have my dual channel 32 gigabytes of RAM I've had for like 3 years. Oh yeah, I was ready for that. Preparing for the system requirement apocalypse. Let's see. Good Vibes VR says the Steam Machine Pro, Steam Machine Pro could be a thing. We have the Xbox Series S and X. Yeah. I'm sure it depends on like how well it goes in the market too. I mean, I know that people are going to buy this. Like, that's not a question to me. Like, people are going to want this. They're going to buy it. But to me, as like someone who's been, you know, playing with PCs, building my own PCs for a long time and gaming on PCs, but especially going into mini PCs, you know, comparably, when I look at the system itself, it's like I could build something that's technically equivalent, that's going to run Steam. Like, it could boot into Steam and boot up in like big screen mode and play all the games in the library, versus being limited to the Steam OS is kind of the way that I'm looking at it. Saved by Zero says, I find it a little odd that it doesn't include Oculink, but Valve intends to give the Steam machine a shelf life. That's what I'm saying. That is one of the things that I don't get. Why would they put out this little power box and not at least give it the capability to run a more powerful GPU like down the road? I mean, that GPU is going to last for a while. Like, you got at least 3 years on that baby, right? Right, chat? I don't know. Technology's moving kind of fast these days. Prince Malcolm says, Xbox is giving everyone their exclusives. They are turning into Sega overnight. Steam console will wipe Xbox out. But here's the thing. You know what? The console, maybe I could see that. Or maybe they'll do like an Xbox Steam Valve machine. An Xbox Steam machine. Microsoft edition. I mean, Microsoft is like the big dog, though, in system OSs. So it's like they're never going away. So I feel like if they phased Xbox out, it wouldn't hurt them that bad because they'd still be making games. But yeah, I mean, that is a good point. Destiny FOMO says, with Linux and Proton compatibility layer, it would make it a nightmare to try and get an NVIDIA card working on it for normal people. Yeah. But, you know, presumably I'm thinking like something, AMD architecture, like Radeon stuff. Because I think Radeon right now is one of the only cards that natively has Oculink support. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like the 7800 that has it. But I think it's one of the only ones. There might be another one or two that have it natively. But I could be totally wrong. And to be honest, even though I have an NVIDIA, I've only ever looked at AMD video cards for Oculink because they're cheaper. And I'm a cheapskate. I'm not a cheapskate, I'm a budgeter. I like to find good deals and then build things for cheap so I can talk about it. And I'm like, oh. Like that episode of South Park where they like fart in the wine glass and they're like, yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. Okay, I think the reason is that there is a Pro model in the works. Even with 8 gigabytes of VRAM, it still competes with a 2070S. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. In a way, I guess that makes sense. But I mean, it's kind of like, isn't it kind of like bottlenecked though? Because of that? Trucks are a bad thing, okay. The Steam machine does include CEC support, which is a nice touch. Loving your Polycade content. Thank you very much. Actually, I have a video coming out tomorrow. It should be like full of a lot of information about the Polycade Sente. And again, I work for Polycade marketing, and that's obviously how I got the Polycade. But I've said it before on my live streams before I even knew anybody over there that if I didn't have my multicade, I totally would have bought a Polycade. But by chance, I was building it like, 6 months before they even crowdfunded the Polycade Sente. So, but anyway, yeah. And I totally love it. Like, I love everything about it. And I love the fact that it's modular. So, yeah. And you could even put a Steam machine in it if you wanted. Right, guys? No, I don't think it's bottlenecked with AM4 CPU. The only reason I have the 7900 GRE is because my RTX 2070S. Oh, okay. My bad. You're talking about your thing. But wouldn't say pre-made shaders on targeted hardware could chew through more demanding titles on such a low spec. Can cook hot dogs on it. Good times. I need to do like a mukbang again and just talk about this stuff violently with like food falling out of my mouth onto the microphone. Like that guy in Home Alone who he's, you know, the cop, he's like eating the donut and it's like falling onto the phone while he's talking and he's just being like disgusting about it. That's kind of me sometimes with mukbangs. It can mine crypto, yeah. They're like gonna make it they're gonna make them illegal. They're gonna like crypto lock them. Let's see, Steam Machine, yep. No, I don't think bottlenecked. All right, just making sure I didn't miss anything here, ladies and gents. So yeah, technically it can. I don't know, but my main argument against it, for myself at least, is the fact that I could put Steam on it. I could put Steam on a mini PC that can like is way future proof and probably about half the price, you know, and just have it like boot into Steam on Windows and just optimize the crap out of it. Like, it's not hard to do that, but again, I mean, that's all like techie nerd shite. And you guys know, I mean, just like Destiny FOMO was talking about with that custom OS, like that's the type of stuff that we do. So it makes sense that people want to mess with it, but I just think it's counterproductive for them to run their OS on it, which was like the main thing that kind of set me off. I was like, dude, come on. Like, you give us this little like powerhouse box for GameCube as who was it? Was it Saved by Zero that said that? And then you're like, but it only runs SteamOS. Could you set up Windows on it? That is the question. Just stick an NVMe in there. I don't think they're going to have drivers for it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Now it's just like complete and total utter speculation, like disgustingly so. But I want one. It's also important to keep in mind that the Steam machine is not subsidized by game licenses like the consoles are, which sell at a loss. Yes, I think the Steam machine is for people who don't build PCs but want a gaming PC. But the reason they use SteamOS is because Windows is pure malware, and yes, you can install Windows on it. Windows, is it really that bad now? It's pretty bad. I know, dude. Like, most, you know what's funny is like I have Windows on a couple of my machines and I run it offline for the most part. But Windows 11's pretty bad. Like, you really got to get in there and dig around and mess with like the settings and like the tracking data and stuff like that. Like, ugh, it's gotten bad. So from a gaming platform perspective, I get it. It's just like I'm butthurt by the fact that you don't have access to the whole library and you have like this powerful little box. Now, I am sure that they're probably going to be releasing like the games that everybody wants on it. They're gonna release those games. Like, there's no question in my mind about that. Anything that's like AAA and stuff like that is all going to be optimized. But again, it has to go through the process of, you know, being made to work for SteamOS. So, geez, I don't know. It makes relevant hardware that won't be. Oh, hey, what's up, Camden Vania? It makes relevant hardware that won't be powerful. Hardware like the Series S or the Steam machine are necessary for those that doesn't want to build a powerhouse for people that wants to play. Yeah, see, but my argument with the Series S was, and I was talking to somebody about this last night, is that it's super cheap. I mean, like you could get a Series S for like, you know, $299. Granted, it has, you know, 512 gigabytes of storage, which this day it's, you know, not a whole lot, but regardless, I mean, it's like a super easy way to get into like the current gen gaming, I guess you could say. Good Vibes VR, I think it forces devs to keep 8 GB GPUs in mind. Game developers aren't optimizing hardware these days. True, wasn't me. At this point, it's more of a publisher issue than a Valve issue. Valve would love every game to work on Steam OS. Right. Yeah. And I get that. You know, I don't think I'm oblivious to it. It's just that like at the same time I'm thinking about the hardware, the money, and the potential of the system. Hopefully they get that stuff adjusted. But yeah, it's definitely been a good conversation with you guys, and I learned something new today. I did not know about the custom OS, so that's kind of interesting. It kind of makes me want to do it on something. I kind of want to try it on like a mini PC and see what happens, and see how, you know, well it runs. That would be really, really interesting to see. I guess the only question would be like how it's going to optimize like the AGPU systems, because the you know, they don't run on a what do you call it, RDNA setup. So really, some of them do. Some of them do. Thank you for that. Thank you. Messiah was right. But I will still argue all day long, Messiah. I will still argue all day long that you can get a just as powerful PC that's more upgradable for half the price of a Steam machine. The Steam Frame OS is an interesting proposal. Windows games that might run on ARM processors. I'm in for that. I mean, the one good thing that could potentially come out of it is more optimization. And like, then obviously I think somebody else mentioned it, but like devs, you know, starting to create games or framework for games to like go over there easily. And I mean, that's an upside. If it can do that, you know, and if people adopt it, it could very well become like, you know, the next universal thing, the next universal game system. It's just really interesting to me, like, that we're still at a point where we don't have, like, with the way that gaming and everything else is, that we don't have kind of like a one system archetype, you know, even if it was like branded by another company like Sony or whatever, like that they ran the same archetype of system to basically share all the same game library. I don't know how lucrative that would be, but it would be interesting. It would definitely be interesting. I feel like game collecting in the sense of what it used to be and like consoles is kind of a thing of the past. Like, it needs to go away. We're at a point now where it needs to go away. However that happens, it'll be interesting. Like, it's got to eventually happen though, right, guys? I mean, like, I'm not crazy for thinking that. Like, we're at a point where we need to like stop with like the multiple systems and just have, except for Switch. Like, we're allowed to have Switch, because Switch, you know, it's Nintendo, and Nintendo does Nintendo. But everything else at this point is kind of like a one pony show, if you will. And the Switch 2 is like great. I love my Switch 2. And it's great because, you know, it does play some of the like third-party AAA titles, you know, Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition and stuff like that. But it's the great thing about it is like how optimized it is, but also the fact that it has the Nintendo game library. Like that is one of the things that makes the Switch so unique. Now everything else you can play on everything else. So again, going back to, you know, one archetype basically that all these people can sell, but it's basically the same thing. It's the future. So let me know what you guys think. We got about like 9 minutes left and I'm going to wrap this thing up. But I'm curious about your guys' thoughts on the sorry. The one system archetype. Curious. What do you guys think? We keep Switch though, right? We got to keep Switch. Because that was my rant for the night. Console wars are not the same anymore. No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, like PS5 versus Xbox, the only thing was exclusives. And it was like, well, it's still really not an exclusive because if it's on Xbox, it's on Windows. So you're a PC gamer, you know? PS5 definitely had exclusives, and then they started going slowly, trickling over to the PC, like Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima and stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. AMD hardware is great for open source hardware, and I'm just spoiled with my hardware. I think it's great for any entry PC. My only complaint about AMD in like a PC setting is the heat. Like they still get so hot, and I feel like if you take the equivalent Intel CPU every single time, the Intel has outperformed. Now, I don't know anything about like the current gen like between the two. So it may not be that way, but one thing I do know is like in the past from my experience, like Intel always runs cooler and is more stable. Whereas like, AMD or Ryzen's like, Jesus, they get hot. We're already there. Everyone's either on x86 ARM or x86 reaching its end. Or ARM, yeah. What's up, Bo? Bo knows. There's Bo. I was using the word biblical earlier. You would have been proud of me. I was talking about how Rich from Review Tech USA like was just going in on Smash JT, and it was biblical because it is awesome. But yeah, listen. Wait, hold on. I think AMD is a cooler now. Intel CPUs are frying themselves. Get out of here! No way. Really? Wow. I didn't know that. And now I have to look into it, though. I have to look into it. Crazy. But yeah, I mean, thank you guys for hanging out and listening to me rant and talking with me. I generally like to do these, every once in a while for some of you who have been around for a while. But I thought it was a good topic because there's a lot of different reasons, all of which I think we covered. Yes, AMD has come a long way from the FX. Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely not dogging their CPUs and GPUs. Like, they've gotten a lot better, especially in the last, 5 years. Yeah, last 5 years, I want to say they've, gotten a lot better. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the memberships and super chats. So thank you guys so much for that. And tomorrow I will be releasing a video at some point. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I need to do that tonight. On the Polycade Sente, if you're interested in that. And what I am going to say, and again, I work for Polycade Marketing, so call me a shill, whatever, throw things at me. That's all right. But I totally like this. This thing is like a legit good, high quality product, like an industrial grade product that you're gonna find in like, you know, an arcade or like as a kiosk in a doctor's office or something like that. Like something that you walk up to and you go, wow, this is nice. And when you're playing on it, it just feels so solid. The display is like so clean and it's perfect for using light guns with. There's just a lot of like really good things that I could say about it. So if you're interested in that, even if you don't want to buy one, check out that video tomorrow when it drops. It's gonna, if you don't get a notification because the Tubes has been doing that. Oh my God. I'm not reading that out loud, Mensa. But yeah, so yeah, my viewers haven't been getting notifications all the time. I don't know why. Anyway, so check back tomorrow. And again, I appreciate you guys. Destiny, if you're still in here, thank you again. Mensa, thank you. And Bo, yes, feel free to use my catchphrase. I think I stole it from someone else. Yeah, very well. All right. Hey, you all have a great night and be safe out there for reals. All right. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.